You had a series where you sat down with Hezekiah Ward, Jism, and sat down for about 25 minutes each and talked with them about their stories. And one of the things that really hit me was hearing Hezekiah Ward talk about growing up and basically the essence of life on a farm and how you went to school in the wintertime because of the fact that you're working the fields in the summer. And the thing is, with a lot of that, a lot of people can relate. My grandfather actually had a similar situation in Chase City, Virginia, where he actually just went to school when it rained. And then because he was tending to the fields, that's the only time he could go to school. And then eventually ended up dropping out of school. But at the same time, everybody still came together and managed to have a good life. And it's that part of the country essence. And in terms of that, and in terms of the storytelling, what is it that you're trying to communicate besides the fun side? Because we see everybody get together, but those stories are gems. What are you trying to get out there in terms of that?
Man, that is you hear people say that's a great question, but that really is, because that is deliberate. When I put a guy like Hezekiah Ward in front of the camera and give him the space to tell that story, for your background, I could crisscross the state of South Carolina or anywhere in the South, and you could pull for me the greatest people in those communities that you know of, that know about life in the country. You couldn't find 5 of them that know more than Hezekiah Ward. He don't always get to show it and talk about it depending on what we're doing, but that he just knows so much about so many things and lived it. Again, Hezekiah came from a large family and he was the oldest of the boys. And so all of his younger siblings, I know all of them, they always looked up to Hezekiah. So Hezekiah had to do everything. Hezekiah, Hezekiah and Jism are contemporaries. But Hezekiah lived deep in the woods, and had to do everything there was to do on that farm as the oldest son. Okay, because he had all the responsibility. So I want people to know about those kinds of stories and to hear that authenticity when he tells it. I can tell you about it. I was there, much younger, and didn't live it as deep as they did. But hearing it come from a guy like Hezekiah makes all the difference in the world. And he's a good storyteller. So why not give him that platform to talk about that? I had hoped that I would do, and I called that series Growing Up Country. And it's kind of still there. I just haven't had a chance to go back and pull the next guy and spend some time with him, and let him tell, what life was like for him. Like you said, I did it a little bit with Jism. It's hard to keep Jism on track for a long time. And I did Navy Boy Rick. You may have seen that story. But that's the only ones I've gotten to so far, but I hope to give you more of that.
Good deal.
So Art, I got to ask you, you've got so many personalities, that you feature in your content, and strong personalities. And so my question is, when you decide to, pull out that camera and start recording content and go down this whole, avenue, I mean, what was that like, getting everybody to be on board with being filmed and being a part of this?
It wasn't hard at all. I'm telling you, it wasn't hard at all. I mean, remember, I know them. So I didn't have to go up and say, hey, guys, my name's Art and I got a camera and I'm just going to be hanging around and getting you doing whatever you're doing. Didn't have to do any of that. I basically say, hey, we're talking, and Brandon, I got the camera. What the hell did you just say? And because they know me, then they automatically respond without thinking about it. I mean, that's what I mean by it's raw. I don't have to pull it out of them. Now, it's been interesting. It's been interesting to me to see how they've all morphed into these deeper YouTube characters. because it's sort of like I took a fire and poured gasoline on it, to the point where some of them have become, personality monsters. And I can name them for you. Would you guys like to hear some of them? I'll tell you about them right here and now.
Please.
That's what we do.
Please do.
Top of the line is
The
my
floor
brother,
is yours.
who, if that camera is anywhere in the room or in the state, he's going to try and find it, because he does not want to miss an opportunity to be on camera. Right behind him is his arch nemesis, the Dragon, who is Ray Charles Williams. Okay. The camera has just enhanced his personality. He can't go to the grocery store without having to take pictures and selfies with people. And he just introduces himself now as, I'm the Dragon. I'm the Dragon. Okay. So then you take him, you take even my niece Muffin. You can take my brother Den Finn. You can take Cleve. You can go down the list. Lil Rob has become the latest YouTube monster on Country Style, who you can't keep away from the camera. So they're regular people who are now wearing their personas of their YouTube cast members. And that's hard to manage.
I love it, man. I love it. But, with everybody just being so raw, I'll put it that way, just being so raw, just letting everything just go. What's the outtake reel like? Do you have footage that you just like, man, I can't put that on there? Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, occasionally. But not a whole lot. I try to keep it as real as I can, except for when there's something that is blatantly offensive. And it does happen, because I'm not trying to hurt these guys or exploit them in a negative way. So if someone says something that is just way out of bounds, I'm going to probably take that out to protect them and to protect the integrity of what Country Style is trying to do. But, YouTube said, hey, y'all can cuss all you want. They didn't need permission for that anyway. But I would, and I still will bleep occasionally an F-bomb or an MF-bomb, almost all the GDs. I try to take all of those out when I can, and I can't catch them all. But I try and censor some of that stuff to protect them as best I can. And it ain't always easy, because there have been many, many times when there was something left on the table that I didn't see and got filmed. And if y'all know anything about YouTube, hey, T-Dub, I can look in your background of you sitting there like I saw the Eagles, and I might say, what are those books he's reading back there? Or what's that picture on the wall from the boys in Chicago from back in the day? Because they're looking at all of that stuff in your background, and you can't catch it all. And there've been some pretty incriminating stuff on that table.
I can imagine.
So I try to clean up as much stuff as I can, but I can't catch it all.